Hello and welcome to Explore Analytics. Today we're going to walk through a quick video that's going to go through how you can connect to Microsoft SQL databases. Anytime you want to connect to data that's running on an MS SQL database, you can follow the steps in this video to very easily and quickly run reports against that data. We're going to do this all through an example of a Microsoft SQL database that is a call system, so looking at calls and call me back queues and timings. And we're going to see how you can easily combine that with data from another data source. So in our example, a cloud-based ServiceNow instance with its incident management data. Now, before we get into it, I just want to quickly talk about what exactly the integration with Microsoft SQL databases looks like. So the way that it works when Explore Analytics is connected to a Microsoft SQL database is that Explore Analytics is running in the cloud, and the user is going to build a report that is against that Microsoft SQL database. Within your network, there's going to be an Explore Analytics agent. That's a Java process that you can install on some machine within your network that can connect directly to that database. So that agent is going to be listening outbound always to Explore Analytics, and once it sees the report is there, it's going to run that query and then send back that data to Explore Analytics. So what this allows is a very seamless way of connecting to Microsoft SQL without opening any ports, opening any firewalls, and you're going to see that this is a quite easy process. So let's get into it. Let's walk through an example of connecting to a Microsoft SQL database. I have a Microsoft SQL database running called Chinook that we're going to use for this kind of a call center use case. So we want information on calls, on the call me back system, and we have a Microsoft SQL database that's running some sort of a call system that we want to connect and build some reporting against. So everything I need to connect to data sources is under the Data tab. I can see my existing data sources in tables, I can upload data, but what I want to do right now is connect to a new Microsoft SQL data source. So first, if I go to install an Explore Analytics agent, this is going to walk us through the setup process to create an agent that'll do the connecting for us. We're not going to go in this video step by step through this process. It may vary based on your Windows experience, but the basics of it are you click here to download a MSI file, a Microsoft Process installation. Once you install it, following the steps that you would do on your Microsoft system, you would then confirm that it is working. You would configure it by adding this properties file, and then you could test it. This dialog will walk you through all those steps, and if you need assistance, you can reach out to us, but we're not going to go step by step on that on the Windows side in this video. Once that agent is running, we have something to be able to connect to that Microsoft SQL database, so I'm going to go and I'm going to click Add a New Source. Now, I have a whole bunch of different types of data sources I can connect to, so different types of relational databases. But for the moment, Microsoft SQL Server. Now, it's going to ask if you want to auto-add tables. By default, what it's going to do when it adds this data source is go table by table for any table that it has access to, and it's going to bring in all those tables and all the fields on those tables, any relationships that are within that database. If you have a large database and are only interested in a few tables, you can say don't auto-add tables and add them manually. But for the most part, it's so much easier for it to just auto-add those tables. Now I'm going to create the data source. I have a call system called Chinook. I've already loaded it, so I'm going to call this Chinook 2. And I have to select a service account. And then from the perspective of the agent, this is actually localhost because we've installed, in my example, the agent on the same machine that the database is running on. If you're using Windows Integrated Security, which means that the agent is running under a user on Windows, so it's already logged in and authenticated, you don't even have to provide additional username or password. So for the most part, you can usually skip that unless for some reason you needed to log into Microsoft SQL Server separately. And then you need to provide the database name, which in our case is Chinook. And I'm going to click OK. So now it's connecting to that call system database. It's detecting the tables that the agent has access to based on its Windows permissions. It's filling out the list of fields, and it's going to fill out the relationships between them and the labels. And as soon as this is done, I can run reports against any of that. So now you can see that my data source has loaded. It has many tables here. It looks like there's 53 tables discovered, some of which look like they have data. Others are system tables that may be of less of interest. I can, delete these tables if I don't want to clutter them. I can just leave them and ignore them. Or as we saw before, I could not auto-add them and instead manually add these tables individually. So now I have this data source, and I can select any one of these tables, create and create my first views. Now I already connected to this data source once so that I could pre-build some views. So let's take a look at some of the power of what we can do. So we have this relational database. You can see here I've already trimmed it just to the tables I'm interested in. I have here the wait time on calls, the list of calls, the call me back system wait time, and then some underlying information like who the customers and the departments and employees are. So let's take a look at one cool example. So I'm going to look at the list of calls. And against this data, I'm using Explore Analytics to create a timeline view. And it's opened by month. This is the list of calls. And this is a trend that I can have. And it's drillable. I can go down to the actual list of calls. Now, this is a real-time report. As I'm looking at this information, it's querying that Microsoft SQL database and returning it to Explore Analytics. Super quick and clean and seamless. And I can now combine this data with other data. So if I go to new mashup view, I'm going to call this call plus incident trend for Chinook and ServiceNow. So one data source that I have this call list from is this list in Chinook that I've my trend of incidents in ServiceNow. So I've selected these two reports using Explore Analytics Mashup View. There's other videos that cover this in more detail. And as soon as I click OK, now I have the trend that has, what's the number of calls versus the number of incidents that were opened month to month, year to year. If I want to, I can then also do some calculations. So do a ratio of what was the volume of calls to the volume of incidents. Call to incident ratio. And maybe focus just on that. So now I can see, what's the ratio of the number of incidents to call. Now, that is connecting data from my cloud ServiceNow environment to my relational on-premise call system with just a couple clicks. We connected to this data source. It only took a couple of minutes, and I'm already combining this data, doing calculations against it. This mashup capability is really key because it allows you to really leverage not only from across data sources, but also within data sources. So I have in Chinook, I have a call wait time, a call back wait time. So how long did it take people if they were waiting on hold, how long if they elected for a callback, and how long if they opened up an incident in ServiceNow. So again, I'm going to use this mashup view, and I'm going to connect those three reports. So call wait time, call back, or call back wait time, and the third report, incident wait time. Wait time by system. So again, the mashup is now going to merge these three views. I want to reiterate this is real time, so if there's information changing in the database, that's going to get updated, and I can quickly see that if someone was waiting on hold, it might take them 16 minutes to get someone to respond. If they're in a callback system, then it might take them more like 10 minutes to get a call back. If they open up an incident through the self-service portal, it might take almost a day. So immediately I know something is going wrong with how our team is responding to incidents through the portal. Let's take a look at what we can do to change our processes to address that. It's been a really quick look at how you can quickly connect to a Microsoft SQL database, and within a few clicks go from just a relational database to real complicated real powerful reports that are drawing data across tables, are connecting to other data sources, and presenting that information in a really cool way. Check out our other videos to see what are the reporting capabilities you can use now that you've connected to that data source, but I hope this gets you started in a real quick way.